on this week? Teddy Kekstadt, you were making some waves last week in the den, man. They were going crazy with some of the things we were talking about. But boy, quite a week we've had, of course, with oil, and we got some action in the currencies this morning as well. What's happening, man?
Well, the oil thing, who knew the storm would actually help boost my little theory, right?
Oh, that's crazy.
But yeah, let's talk about what's going on with the dollar. The dollar index right now posted a little reversal buy signal, reinforcing the short-term uptrend that it's been in. We had most of the currencies were falling off against the dollar. The pound has been a very big bull. Remember, we've been talking about how it's been very oil-related and stuff like that.
Yeah, yes.
So the commodity part is definitely in play with that. And actually, to bring you guys into play, on Monday, when I had a guy on the chat yesterday talking about gold, he asked me if I'd look at it. And I'm like, well, you know what? Tomorrow I'm going to talk to my guys, Tom and Tommy O'Brien, because they have a gold report. So what does gold have to do with direction right now? How do you check it out? So I was looking at the chart and I'm like, okay, so looking at this, here's the basic technicals. I'm like, but if you really want to know where the gold's going, you got to look at the yen. Okay, so if you look at a U.S. dollar yen chart, yesterday it broke out to the upside to higher move highs. So we have a higher move high now after a higher move low. We have a really nice correction to the upside on the daily basis in the yen that's been going on since January. Okay, now remember we were talking about how oil, that's a big deal with Japan. Okay,
yes.
So with oil skyrocketing, and now we know that if anyone pays attention to the 30-year, I always bring that up. That thing has fallen out of bed over the past week and a half. Now today it's higher because of the news from the reports, but I mean it spiked low yesterday. I mean it's trading around the 165 handle. That's a very low. So the yield curve is getting stretched. That's also negative for the yen. Okay, so now let's get back to the gold relationship. So when you take out the interest rate variable, which is also like a commodity, then you take out the oil variable, what's left? Gold. So right now, gold is an inverse reflection of what the U.S. dollar yen's doing. So you notice that the yen made a higher move high yesterday. Gold didn't quite do it, but then it spiked through it today, making a lower move low. Okay, so if you want to know where gold's going, look at where the yen's going. Or if you want to know where the yen's going, all you got to do is look at where gold's doing today. Make sense?
It does. It does. I know Tom, my dad, he's always watching that yen. It's a great point, man. And I'm jumping back and forth between the two charts as you're talking. And a lot of inverse relationships there for sure.
So that's a nice little indicator. So as far as where that's going. So now if we leave that alone, let's look at the other currencies. So if we look at the commodity trade still, Australian dollar posted a sell signal yesterday. So it's a short term looking for just a little bit of a slide. I wouldn't expect much. I would say down to maybe the price target right now is around 75.66 somewhere on the extreme. Most likely 76.58 probably is more where it might stop at, because that's a big bull. Remember, it's commodity driven.
Yes.
Now the euro, however, that's falling out of bed today. Okay, that's why the dollar index is getting a boost today, because the pound is only slightly lower and it's coming off of a higher move high. So you got to be very careful with the pound. But the euro US dollar, I can see it getting down to the $1.19 level, somewhere around there, $1.19.5. Nothing too extreme, but definitely I would say that you're going to see dollar strength versus the euro versus the Swiss. The Swiss has had a big move to the upside today, and this has a lot to do with interest rates, So as the yield curve gets stretched, remember that adds to the cost of carry for all commodities to begin with. So the pricing for that starts to go up, which means that's inflationary. What's inflationary mean? That means the bonds are you need a higher interest rates. That's just where it's coming from, So while the short terms are staying at the top because the banks and the Fed are not lending at a higher rate, the market is dictating it. So we're going to have a lot of volatility, I think, coming up over the next few weeks to the next few months, where you're going to start to see a rubber band effect from this, because these things are going to keep getting stretched, and we are setting up for big trends. I mean, how the currencies, I like it because they trend a lot. If you look at the 30-year Treasury bond, it's traded down $20 since the spring. A $20 move in the bonds in 9 months without the Fed raising or cutting rates every month in an extreme manner doesn't make sense. So that means we're in play. We're coming to this point where no matter what, we're going to start to see the currencies swing like crazy. So dollar index is going to be a tough gauge coming up.
Nice. Yeah, I know. Some of these moves, I mean, I got the 30-year up there. I mean, remarkable action. Basically from 184, right, to 164 we're trading at. And that euro, I was getting ready for you coming on the show, man. And as you mentioned, just in the last 24 hours, right, Teddy? I mean, that moved from almost 122 to 120, so 119 definitely possible. It looks like quite a bar on the daily basis, but you put this thing on a 15-minute, and my goodness, that drop-off from 7 a.m. yesterday morning, 121.69, and we're pushing basically 120 right now at 120.27. Folks, if you head on over to our YouTube channel, you can always access every interview we do, every show we do. Teddy, we had you up there last week, man. We were promoting you because that was just such a great interview. You got over 3,000 views on that view.
Really? Oh my gosh.
You just cover so much, man. That's why I'm bringing it up. I encourage people. I have to maybe sometimes go back over all those relationships you put together because they're so important in the world we're in right now. Everything is interrelated when we're dealing with, like you're talking about, whether it's commodities, whether it's interest rates, the carry of all that. So you do a great job of walking it through, man. I'm probably going to listen to this at some point in the next couple of days. So head on over to the YouTube channel, folks. Just search TFNN, subscribe. It's free, and you can check out all those interviews. We'll get Teddy's up there as well because it's a great education.
They can come to my YouTube channel, Forex Trading Unlocked, also, and check out things as well.
Perfect. And head on over to Forex-Trading-Unlocked.com. Teddy, man, we always appreciate the education. Boy, we got a lot going on in these markets. Forex, a big part of it, and we'll talk to you next Wednesday, man.
2021, my friend. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Perfect. All right, man. Thanks for the update, Teddy. We'll talk to you next week.